2024. The last few years have been a bit of a roller coaster for myself and many of you, I'm sure. But I wanted to resume the series of podcasts by looking at our faith and how it gets us through life and difficult situations. And as I thought about this subject, there was one specific person that came to mind that was at the top of my list to speak to, and that's my friend Shubham Gupta. And he actually runs the podcast called Soothness. So please sit back, relax, and let me introduce you to my dear friend Shubham. Hi Shubham, and welcome to the first of the new series of the Essence of Me podcast. How are you doing?
It has been a great pleasure to be around with you again. And I am literally blessed to have your association and all the listeners that are listening to this podcast right now. Let me mention that Queen Whisperer is like full of abundance. And literally, I am every time, whenever I am connecting with her, she is like full of spark, full of smile. And she induced that smile into me. So it was me who started this smile culture, but I am getting my smile from this person. That is sweetie. So yeah, all glories to the Queen Whisperer.
Oh, thank you very much, Shubham. That's really, really kind of you. So let's just dive straight in. And I know the last time we spoke, you had shared that you had suffered a loss. And it was the unfortunate passing of your dear father. May he rest in peace. What I wanted to ask you was, during that period, Shubham, how have you been managing your business, your family, but most importantly, how have you been maintaining your mental health? Because I know that sort of a loss can hit really, really deeply. And it can actually take a while before the truth and the reality of the situation sets in. So how have you been doing?
Literally, I won't lie, but I was so much disturbed during that phase.
Okay.
But fast forward to now, I'm like free of anxiety. So, on the first account, I would like to thank my father, who is not more with me. But yes, he is with me in the form of his advices. Every time I used to be with him, he used to advise me something or another thing that is now guiding me. It is like my morning star. So, I am not away from my father. I am always connected with him in the form of his advices. So, the values that my father inculcated into me was like, on a specific note, one fine advice that he asked me to inculcate was to say what you do and to do what you say.
What you say. Brilliant. I absolutely love that. And do what you do and do what you say.
Exactly. Because this, at the end of the day, eliminates all the stress from your head, because you are not trying to be a person that is different from what you have said.
And did you find, sorry, I just had a thought when you said that, when you said you're not trying to be a person that's different to what you said. Did you find throughout this process that you were trying to be your father as opposed to standing in Shubham? Did you find that you were trying to make up for his loss by trying to be him, as opposed to taking all the lessons that he'd cultivated in you and putting them into practice?
To be honest, I was not trying to be my father, but I was trying to explore my own self through his advices. So it is like, you are grooming yourself to be a better person for yourself, for your family. Because at the end of the day, I cannot fill the shoes of my father. I have to create my own footprints. So yeah, so this takes us all the anxiety out from us, because anxiety, root cause of all anxiety is, if you are not doing what you are saying, this creates anxiety into you. So, and my father practically used to guide me that how you should do this, because every time I've seen him do what he said.
Okay, so he was literally a man of his word.
Exactly.
And how would you say that anxiety manifested itself? And when did you recognize that anxiety was kicking in? What was the flags that made you think, oh, something's going on here? Because I know we all process death and loss very differently. So how I reacted to when my father passed is I just went into autopilot. And I just kind of got up and did what had to be done. I almost didn't give myself time to think about and process. We just did what had to be done. And it was only, I think it was 6 weeks in, and I felt like I needed to get off the train. I was beginning to feel like a bit of a hamster in a wheel. So for you, when did you recognize that something was different, apart from obviously Dad no longer being around and being there as your guide?
Yes. So, on the first note, if you are having your principles of life very clear and you have a person that is guiding you for every step, life becomes easy. So, this came to me after like 9 months of my dad passing. So, till this 9 months, until I met that person or I was taught these principles of life, I was like so much depressed, and I was like so much pity, you can say, or into grief.
Into grief.
Yes, and I literally admit that I was depressed because at that time I expected that love from my father, but I'm not getting that anymore.
You almost felt like you needed his love to be there to soothe you, but it wasn't there. It's interesting how that ties in with the actual name of the podcast, which is Soothness.
Soothness.